Welcome to my new podcast. Do you skate? My name is Sa. If you do not know me, I have a TikTok called Why Am I Even Here? X, and that's the title of this episode because it is my first ever episode of whatever this is going to be, right? I do some live streams on there, so there are some people that are coming from there, right, from my TikTok page. So it's nice to see you if I do know you, and if you do know me. If I do not know you, and you do not know me, I'm Sa, and that is it. Anyway, so without answering the question, do I skate, or do you skate, I have some things I want to yap about today, right? So we're gonna get right on to it. First off, do you think Satoru Gojo is an alpha or an omega? Now, I think they share that, really. And by they, obviously I mean Gato and Gojo, guys. Right, anyway. I wanted that to be my first thing to talk about because I think it's funny, right? I think it's funny. I also have been, I don't want to say engulfing, but I've been reading more Omegaverse lately than I have ever been, and that's because of a ship from A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. I won't say who, because if you do know A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, I would like you to guess what ship I'd be indulging in. That's the word I was thinking of. Anyway, I wanted that to be the question. I'm not really gonna answer it. I have some thoughts. Me and my best friend kind of debated it because it's literally the same question of, are you Satoru Gojo because you're the strongest, or are you the strongest because you're Satoru Gojo? It is that exact same question, but worded differently. Right? Are you an alpha because you're Satoru Gojo, or are you Satoru Gojo because you're an alpha? And also, I would like to say we have to take Gato into account. But I will say, with the Omegaverse, and if you're reading a ship, like, in the Omegaverse, like, specifically two characters in media, they're gonna share it. I think they share that, really. Somebody please understand that. I might put that reference in, because I hope somebody gets it. Anyway, that's a Larry Silenson reference, by the way. Anyway, sorry. Whiplash. But I've lost my train of thought. This is my first time doing anything podcasty related, so I don't know. Isn't the whole appeal of podcasts is that you don't really like edit things out? It's low-key just you talking. I'm probably still gonna edit some things out, but the only podcast I've watched where they're alone, it's just one person, is Curtis Connor. So forgive me if this is rough and embarrassing. Because I can bounce off energy really well. I can bounce off anybody's energy really well, except my own, apparently. So that's awesome. But people say I'm funny, and people say that it's really nice. I have a really nice voice. I'm in over my head. Anyway, next topic. The Pit. Wonderful show. If you do not know what it is a medical drama, I'm gonna say. It's a medical show / drama. Which, if you don't know the concept, it's basically 15 episodes a season. There's currently 2 seasons out. The second season is it's getting ready to finish. I think there's 2 episodes left of the new season. Anyway, and every episode is an hour, and it takes place in one shift in the ER. And honestly, what a baller concept! I would just like to say, it is such a cool concept. I heard of The Pit when season 1 came out because my manager at the time was like, oh, you would really enjoy this. I was yapping to her about something. I don't remember what I was into. I was into something at the time. And I was yapping to her about it, and she mentioned The Pit. And she was like, you'd really, I really recommend, you watch it. And then I never did. And then I got an edit of Huckle Robbie, and I made a TikTok where I was like, guys, I'm, really debating watching this show. And everybody was like, watch it. So I watched it. Really fucking good. I ship everybody in the show. I like every single character. I don't really understand if you hate a character in that show, because I think the point is that they all suck in a way. Obviously, there's better characters that suck less than other characters, but I still see the appeal in the characters that I think other people really don't like. I don't really have a favorite character, I will say. I think Robbie is the most interesting to me. Robbie and Santos are the most interesting to me currently. Whitaker, I will say, I do have some bias for him for some reason. I feel like a mother duck when it comes to him. Like, that is my sad little mouse. Like I don't know why. Like, I look into his sad little eyes and I can't even say I feel maternal because he's fine as fuck. But is that weird to say? Guys, first episode, and people are gonna be like, I'm clicking off. Anyway, so the reason why I wanted to talk about The Pit is because, other than the amazing show that it is because I saw a TikTok of someone saying that they hate seeing male-female friendships, like, in film and media. And it was in defense of other people perceiving their favorite ship as platonic. And I just thought it was really interesting. Now, I didn't watch the full TikTok, so this is not boots down journalism, right? This is off my vague memory. And I've been thinking about this. Like, I've went on rants to my best friend about it because when I saw it, I audibly scoffed, right? Because I'm a little biased with male-female friendships in film. I think they're so important, and I constantly think that there needs to be more of them. Like, I will die on that hill. So for somebody to say the exact opposite of something that I believe in, let's just say, I was a little heated, right? And I think why I sort of wanted this to be a point is because I think that's exactly what this video was made out of. Heat. We started off this podcast with Omegaverse, and now I feel like it's been a staple. We're talking about anger, okay? Not even anger, just like frustration. I feel like they quote unquote like said in the post, there's enough of them. I understand when you see something, maybe it's on your For You page, that isn't exactly crafted for you, you get a little lost, right? You get a little whoa. Which I think is exactly what happened here, right? Now let me just say this. Anything you put on the internet, any staple, like any statement that you say, I like this, there's gonna be people that find it that don't like it. And they're gonna be like, I'm entitled to share my viewpoint of this. And of course they are, right? You can say whatever the fuck you want to say, but also no freedom of consequence, right? And no hate to this person, because, like I'm saying, I totally understand it, right? However, I will say, the statement is low-key just wrong, right? There is no such thing as enough male-female friendship representation in media. Do you want to know why that is? And yes, there's been an onslaught of it recently because I feel like Gen Z and in the new age of film, I think there's been more advocacy for it, which is so great. It's delicious. But, however, as long as fandom exists, that representation for male-female friendships will be diminished, right? Because in fandom, everybody's shipped. No matter what, right? And there's awful people in fandom who have quite just weird, awful takes, right? There's multi-shippers, and then there's weird shippers that they create a ship, and you're like, is that legal? Like, what are we talking about? And you can't really do anything about it. Fandom is always going to exist. Fandom is my enemy and my friend. I love it. I love indulging in it. I love in taking it. I'm a part of a lot of fandoms. However, like I said, with every fandom, there's a weird person that has a little crazy of a take, and you're like, well, hold on, let's think about this. And that's sort of the point of why I wanted to bring this up, is that the internet would be a little bit better, yet less entertaining, if people thought about what they were posting. And it seems like such an easy thing, right? Like, hey, just think about what you're saying real quick, right? Like, does it make sense? Is it articulated well? No. Because people like to see the heat, they like to see anger, they like to see intense emotions on TikTok, they like seeing things that are sort of insane. It's like the whole point of TikTok, and there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. However, it's hardwired. It has hardwired our brain, I think. And that's exactly, I brought it up earlier, where I think people see something that is not carefully crafted for them, and they freak out a little bit. And I think that's exactly what that is. And that was my first reaction. I saw a take I didn't necessarily agree with. Why did I say it like that? Agree with. And I kind of, I scoffed. I went on a rant about it on my private story, and I was like, what, like this is like just wrong. This is just wrong. It's necessarily not. Because of, I gotta shift real quick. Let's not drop my Awala that I named Icarus. Anyway, it's not necessarily wrong because there has been there has been a lot of more representation for male female friendships, but that is because there's been a lot more advocacy for male female friendships, right? Because if you look at older shows, older movies, it's not really there. Like, and if it is, it's teased very heavily. Either they get into a relationship later on, or it's teased that one of them has a crush on the other, because of course, males just can't deny having feelings for a beautiful female, or it's the other way around. And I just think that's stupid. Which is why I'm such an advocate for more representation for it. And I'm gonna say something a little crazy. I think there needs to be more representation with male-female friendships that isn't sibling coded. Because I put on this little, I have little notes off to the side. I put Santos and Whitaker is a really good example. Nobody ships them. There's probably is a couple, I will say. People probably do. Barely any people ship them, I will say. And that's because they're heavily sibling coded, right? They live together, they're roommates. Like, every post I see about them, oh, they're siblings. And that's really nice. That's so nice. However, isn't necessarily realistic that you're going to have a friend and you immediately have that sort of sibling banter. No, right? It's not necessarily the case. I have a male friend, and we don't have a sibling-like relationship. We are just friends. That is it. We are simply friends. And that's it. That's all I gotta say to that. It's not necessarily like I love sibling-coded like relationships. It's just that it kind of sucks that in order to not be shipped between two different genders, you have to act like siblings. And I don't want to be this woker, right? But it sucks when I see it personally, right? Where, and this is going to be kind of like, I know people aren't going to necessarily agree with this. Obviously, anytime you post something on the internet, anytime you say something, there's going to be people that disagree. And of course, that's always just like, there's always going to be people, when you say that you like a ship, there's always going to be people that are going to be like, hey, they're like just friends, right? Or they're going to be like, that's never going to happen, right? Because they think that for some reason you think that it's 100% going to become canon. And then you're like, well, I never said that. And they're going to be like, well, I know you were thinking it. What? You can't read my brain. That's just not how that works. It just sucks a little bit because I'm just like, why is that? Like, why is that? You have to look like, or you have to act like you're blood related to not be perceived as sexual in some way or romantic in some way. That's weird to me. That's just a little weird, right? That's just a little strange, I'll say, right? Because I think it completely evaporates the aspect of the fact that women and men can be friends. Anybody of the opposite gender, anyone that is just whatever, right? Like, you don't have to act like siblings to not be perceived as romantic, right? And of course, fandom is always going to be fandom. I'm not saying don't ship people. Ship whoever the fuck you want, as long as it's legal and not hurting anybody. It gets me that they're like, there's enough of it, right? And it's like, you're very clearly only saying that because people don't agree with something that you ship, right? And it's like, hey, it's okay that people don't agree with your ship, or maybe are even commenting on your post about said ship and saying like, no, I don't agree with this, like this is stupid. But guess what? You can delete comments. I know some people think it's a pussy move. It's not. It's really not, right? Like, you can if you make a video and you you get a comment that's sort of absurd, or just being, or it's the whole but what if I don't like bean soup type comment, right? Just delete it. Or have a snarky reply and move on. Like, I just wish sometimes people would stop making videos out of anger and out of sort of intense feelings, and sort of think to themselves, like, do you really think that there's enough male-female representation in media? Friendship representation, I should say. Because I feel like I just said male-female representation. There's obviously enough male-female representation in media. It's just, the Pit fandom's great. I think it's fun. I think I love shipping everybody. Trust me, I just finished season 1 of the live-action One Piece. I love shipping everybody, right? The only two people I don't ship is Nami and Luffy. I think they're more of a sibling relationship. However, when me and my best friend were watching it, and I kept saying, like, oh my god, they're so brother and sister, I also followed up with, though I can understand where the ship comes from, right? I can understand the appeal of it. I can understand why people like it. I can understand why people indulge in it. It's not hard, right? It's not hard to understand where people come from. And to put yourself in their shoes. People act like it's awful. Oh no, I don't want to understand. I just don't want to understand where you're coming from with this. Then move on. Then move away. Right? Scroll away or whatever. Click off. Like, I just don't get it. Right? If you don't want to take the time and the effort to really think, like, where are they coming from with this? Right? Like, is there a way that they're thinking this possibility or whatever? If you just want to, like, leave a nasty ass comment on the internet, that's your prerogative, but you also can't be like, you're a pussy to the creator for deleting said comment. It's just not how that works, right? Like, and it's obviously they're saying this in defense of people perceiving their favorite ship as platonic. And I know I've been kind of dogging on them a bit, so I'm going to dog on the people who felt the need to, on their videos, be like, it's clear that they're just purely platonic. You're weird for that. You're weird for that. Because you don't have to, every time you see a video that you don't necessarily agree with, you don't have to go into the comment section and be like, I don't agree with this. Who are you? Like, okay, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry you don't agree with this. What do you want me to do about it? You want me to change my opinion because you don't agree with it? What? No. Like, why would I do that? Like, I got a comment on one of my live streams where someone said they didn't like something. Like, I don't know what it was. It was like a song, or maybe it was my glasses, or maybe, like, I think it was my piercing. I had a bigger piercing than this in. Like, it was big. It was a big ass septum. And I don't mean, like, gauge-wise. It was just very long. It went to, like, here, like, anyway. And someone went on my live stream and, like, commented, like, I don't fuck with your septum. And I was like, oh my god, guys. They don't fuck with my septum. I gotta take it out. I gotta take it out right now. Obviously fully in sarcasm, right? And they left. And I'm just like, yeah, because, like, what do you expect? Like, do you personally think that people should change everything about them because you don't agree with it? Like, I just don't understand the whole, like, sometimes you have to realize what is a necessary comment to make and what is an unnecessary comment to make. And I think we've lost that plot completely, right? And I hate to keep bringing it up, but it is the what if I don't like bean soup thing. Then stop engaging with bean soup media, guys. Like, and I made a TikTok about the whole Chaperone situation, where every time something happens with Chaperone, there is always and forever a comment by someone that's like, guys, we should just do her a favor and stop making her famous because clearly that's what she wants. And I said in my video, do it. Stop making her famous. Do it. Not to quote Nike, just do it. Right? Like, honestly, Like, if you hate Chapel Roan and you hate hearing about her and all this jazz, right? Whatever. You just, every time you roll your eyes when you hear about something that she said or she did, stop engaging with what she is doing. Stop engaging with news that you get about her. Stop listening to her music. Every time you see a TikTok or you see a news outlet or whatever, right, that says something that she did, look away, scroll away, close out of the app, hit not interested on TikTok. If it is something that is making you irrevocably angry, stop engaging in that media, right? Stop interacting with it. I think a lot of people forget that the internet is crafted specifically for you, right? Nowadays, every app uses an algorithm that is handpicked for you. They use data on how long you're looking at posts, at how much you're interacting with it, if you're sharing it with friends, right? If you're reposting, whatever, right? They look at that. And then that's what crafts whatever next video that you get, right? That's the point of the internet now. It's handcrafted for you, right? And I know there's gonna be people that are like, it's not that serious. Like, if it's not that serious, then you move on, right? And it's not that this is making me boil over, right? Like, oh, no, I'm just making a statement, right? Is there passion in my voice as I make this statement? Yes, I'm a very passionate person. But I'm just saying, right? How things nowadays get a lot of traction on the internet is how much it can make you angry. Because it's such a powerful emotion, right? It's so, like, so if you're constantly, I'm just saying, like, for the benefit of yourself, if you're constantly interacting with stuff and your For You page is almost crafted to fit that emotion, that very powerful emotion that you feel, then maybe it is time to stop interacting so much on that social media platform, right? Because you're feeling such an intense emotion that can make you do such drastic things. It can make you say such drastic things. It like, anger it's very powerful, right? However, I do think love is more powerful, but I think that we're losing it, right? I think people don't want to feel it because I think love is almost more scary. I think love is scary and I think anger is easy, right? Anger is a very easy thing to feel. Fear is an even more intense one, right? Because I think fear creates anger. The fear of the unknown, can also lead to such drastic things like religion. I'm sorry. I apologize. It's Easter tomorrow. Anyway, I just think it's such an insane thing of like, okay, I saw something I don't agree with. Let me get on TikTok right now and make a whole ass video of like ranting about it. And it's like, I think maybe you should think about it like before you speak on it, right? Like, I just think so many people don't do that. And I think a really good example is Smosh reads Reddit stories. Love, right? I was just watching them. Their new episode came out today. I'm filming this on a Saturday. And something Shane Top has mentioned in a Smosh reads Reddit stories episode is that sometimes they'll read a Reddit story and they'll have like such an initial reaction, and then he'll think about that reaction later and he'll be like, I don't necessarily agree with that. And that's such a good case in point. That's such a good point, right? Because your first reaction to something is not gonna be your same reaction a day later, a week later, right? Because you go through so many different experiences in just a matter of time, right? Like, there's a car alarm going off. Anyway, like, whether that's seconds, whether that's minutes, whether that's an hour, right? You go through so many things, you feel so many things, that you're gonna look back at something and be like, why did I? Right? And a lot of people, though, when called out for stuff like this, they double the fuck down. Because while people feel a lot of anger, they feel a lot more fear of being wrong, right? So that's where I'm a little scared about talking about this TikTok. Because I'm a little scared that for some reason, they're going to see this and they're going to be like, wow, message me or whatever. Or people are going to see this and they're going to be like, hey, you're wrong about this. And then I'm going to freak out because I don't take constructive criticism very well. And then I'm going to cry and then I'm going to break down and then I'm going to realize this is not for me. There's so many things that can happen though. But with that fear of me being like, oh, I'm scared that they're going to see this and or whatever happens after that, I also have to realize whatever you put on the internet, low key guys, we have to realize free reign. It is free reign. They've also mentioned that on Smosh Reads Reddit stories where Shane has mentioned a lot of times where people will post something and then they'll be shocked that the internet reacted the way that it did. And it's like, well, it's the internet, right? Anytime you post or you put something on the internet, it's free reign. People can take and do whatever they want with it. It's free use. It's the same as you don't really have privacy when you're in a public setting. That is what the internet is. It is a public setting, just on our phones, right? But yeah, I just feel like stop making posts out of anger, right? Like, the only thing, I have made videos, the new Pit episode came out Thursday, and I made a video right after of, like, my reactions and my takes. Not really my takes, but just more my reaction of, like, oh my god. But I do it more out of humor. I don't think that's necessarily wrong, right? Like, I just do it more of humor of, like, oh my god, because, like, an intense thing happens, and then I was like, guys, they have to close access. They have to close off access to the roof, like, right now. But it's not necessarily wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong to feel intensely. It's being human, babe. Like, feel, it's so great. It's so beautiful. It's just, I just think a lot of times, people feel so intensely, and now with the internet, it's so easy to do stuff that you regret, and to say stuff that you regret, and to say stuff that you don't necessarily believe in anymore. But that's also the beautiful part of the internet that I love, and I love creating, is making videos and then looking back and be like, oh my god, that was such a different time of my life, right? It's there's such a beauty. There's such a beauty in that I love, right? I love looking back at my old videos and sort of just being like, whoa, like that's a different person. Like, and maybe I don't agree with stuff that I have said, and it is normal, right? Because like I said, you go through so many different changes that it's like you're bound to not fully agree with stuff that you believed in like a week ago, right? And whether that's because you get new information about the topic, you get more educated, or just you have a new outlook on life, right? Change is such a beautiful thing that I wish people weren't so afraid of it, but it's also natural to be afraid of it because involuntary change, things that you can't necessarily control, I think humans find comfort in control. And anyone who says differently, you are low-key wrong, right? And I think a lot of people say differently to that because they're like, I don't feel comfort in control, because people think control is, they think it's a malice thing because people have taken it to a malice point, right? And it's like, it's not necessarily a malice thing, right? There are little things in your life that you do have control over, right? Your hair, your autonomy, your, I would hope, just little things like what you read, the little choices that you make, right? Like, those aren't malice things that you have control over. Those are simple things that you have control over, right? It's just what you do with control that makes it malice or not, right? Like, it's more over if you think you have control over people where that becomes incorrect because you don't. But I think that's another thing where people seek control in other people because they're afraid that they don't have it, right? And it's just, you at some point you have to find acceptance in that you don't have control in other people. But it is a very hard thing. I even find myself in situations where something will happen, and in my brain, I'm like, I wish that didn't happen, and I wish this other thing happened. And I almost find myself reacting, like, immediately and being like, they should have done this or blah, blah, blah. And almost always when I calm down, I'm like, but I can't control what they did, and I can't control what they do. And it's such a nice forecoming. It's such a nice calm down, right? Of like, well, I just love the acceptance stage of things. I think it makes me feel warm inside, where I'm like, oh, I've accepted this. I'm okay. Let's move on. Anyway, my next point has a lot to do with what I've been yapping about, and that's AI and greed. My grandma's home. Okay. AI and greed. And I wanted to talk about this because I got an edit of Game of Thrones characters, and they used an AI intro, And someone commented like, "Oh, an AI intro." And the creator responded and was like, "There are tons of other bad things that are happening in the world and that are using a lot of water, and you're complaining about me like using it. It's like it's not that big of a deal." I'm going to say this right now because this goes into my other point. Just because something is inevitably worse does not excuse the other bad thing. Two things can, in fact, be true at the exact same time. It is entirely possible, and I do not know why people think that it is not. Right? Like, but I think it's because a lot of people grew up with the mentality of, okay, other people have it worse, so I'm fine. No. No, 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 no. Go to therapy. Like, a lot of Gen Z, Millennials, Gen X, they grew up with that mentality, right? It is not true. I'm going to say that right now. You are completely valid for what you are going through and what you are feeling. Just because other people do in fact have it worse does not invalidate what you are going through, right? And it shouldn't. It should not. It should not invalidate that. Because of course other people are always, there's always someone out there. There's always some other bad thing that's happening. The world is huge. The world is huge. And there's so many things happening and there's so many people. So it's like how, like, that's never, oh, I got too heated. That's never not going to happen. Right? Like, there's never not going to be another other bad thing that's existing. Because there's someone out there doing a horrible thing. And that's just the duality of humans. That's the duality of Earth. That's the duality of our population size, right? Like, so to invalidate yourself with that, it doesn't work. It shouldn't work, right? That it doesn't. Because even if you don't go through whatever happened, there's still bad things that are going to be happening, right? Like, even if your life is hunky fucking dory and you're having a good time, you're having a grand time, there's something horrible on the other side of the world happening, right? There's someone going through the worst night of their lives. Well, you're having the best night of your life, but that doesn't mean that you can't have the best night of your life. Again, two things can be true at once, right? So just because there is another bad thing happening doesn't mean that AI is not also equally bad. Maybe not equally. Still bad. Still bad, right? Like, just because, yes, there are levels to, like, traumatic events, right? But when it comes to subjective things, like how people intake AI, it's sort of just like this case of, there are no real levels to it, like with subjective things like trauma, because everybody intakes things differently and everybody handles things differently, right? My next point is props to Game of Thrones dragons. We just had I feel like I got very deep, and now we're going to be talking about Game of Thrones dragons. Again, duality, right? I mainly wanted to talk about it because I get edits of Game of Thrones dragons. I've seen the show, right? But I get edits of it, and I'm just like, damn. Like, I just sit there, and I'm just like, wow. Like, the CGI team did their big ones, right? Like, they are gorgeous beasts in that show. And I see a lot of people talk about how they could do it better, or like, oh, whatever. And I'm just like, great and all. I think they did pretty good. Personally, I think they did pretty good. Because, like, I've never seen really things of, like, of that nature that get so much traction and get literal edits, like, made of them. So it's just so cool where I'm just like I get edits of them, like, oh, like, I wonder, like it gets to that level where I wonder if like the people who did make them, like I wonder if they get edits or something of it, or just see like, I just hope that they see the appreciation of their work. Like I just like, because it is cool, like it's so cool that we can create fantasy stuff like that, and I think they're just it's just so beautiful, and I just want to say props. I just want to say props to them, because I can't do it. I can't do that. I like, my camera's making a lot of fucking noise. I am recording this at like 3 in the afternoon. I probably could have recorded it way later, but then you'd have to deal with her snoring, so it's either hearing her make a ruckus or hearing her snore, and I don't know. I don't know which is worse, right? I will say I won't be recording here in this room, in this space, in this area all of the time. I wish that I did have a set, period. I wish I did have a set where I could record and it's the same backdrop, it's the same everything, but I just don't have that because I do go to college. But I am home for the weekend because it's Easter weekend. I have an essay and a midterm due tomorrow. On Easter? On Christ's resurrection? That's not very kind of my English teacher, I will say. But so yeah, I will probably be recording next week in my dorm room. I don't know where in my dorm room. Somewhere. I will say I'm recording this also on my phone. So yeah, it's gonna be really awkward. It's gonna be really slow start. This is my first time doing anything like this. I am probably gonna edit some points out. See, like that's another thing. Like I don't know if I mentioned that at the beginning. I have a very short memory, but like I don't know. I'm gonna edit some things out. Like I know the whole appeal is sort of like I'm just like I'm talking and I'm going, but I feel like there's long pauses that I feel like I make or whatever, and I'm just like I feel like I can cut that out. Like I feel like that's okay. Right? Like I feel like that's okay. I don't know, like this is like I've made 2 video essays before this. The first one was about Miraculous. I had points. And then I rewatched my Miraculous rant. It was like an hour long, and I realized it does not matter. And then I scrapped it because I was like, this is stupid. And then I made another video essay about something. I think it was more podcasty like. And I even got to the point of trying to edit it. And it was my first time using CapCut on my computer, on my laptop. And when I tell you, I was getting frustrated. Like I use CapCut on my phone, and it's great. I love the formatting. I edit a lot to the point where I pay for CapCut Pro. I edit so much to that point. Which is stupid, CapCut. Stop. I'm going to advocate, even though I pay for CapCut Pro, I'm going to advocate for people who don't, right? Because they recently made one effect. They made a couple effects, or animations, or whatever. They made a couple of them for Pro. And what a malice fucking way to make your app just inaccessible to the point where you have to fucking pay for it. And it's stupid, because then why not just make your app like VideoStar? I'm pretty sure you still have to pay for VideoStar. Behind a paywall, if you're gonna do that shit. It's just disrespectful. It's fucking stupid. Fuck you, CapCut. I'm an avid user. I love it, but fuck you, because that is so rude. That is just so fucking rude, right? Where they make some things pro and other things not. Fuck you. Like what? Like, it's just... It ruffles my feathers. And I know everyone's, you know how I was just talking about, like, don't say or make things, like, out of anger or whatever, because it could... No, that's something I will 10 toes down. Fuck you, CapCut. 10 toes. 10, all of them. I'm digging my heels in that statement, because I felt it for so long. Like, and I have a friend who doesn't pay for it, and my best friend, and every time they're like, what, they made this fucking pro? I'm just like, what? What? Like, because why would you do that? Like, just put your app behind a fucking paywall if that's what you're gonna do. Like, I don't... like, it's so stupid. And I've tried doing VideoStar, and I'm just... CapCut does have has the easiest mobile layout to use. I don't even think I can get After Effects on my computer. Maybe I can. But that's also another thing. Like, I'm very simple-minded, guys. And I like... oh, yeah, in my town, when it hits 4 and 12 and 9 p.m., siren sound. Why? Fuck if I know. The 9 o'clock one is like curfew. I don't know why they do noon and 4. So now we know that it's 4 p.m. Yeah, this video is a fucking disaster, but I'm still gonna post it anyway, because I think it's a great first episode. I think it shows my personality. There's not gonna be a lot of people that are watching this, but I'm still gonna do it anyway. I'm still gonna post this. I say a lot. it's a problem. But yeah, fuck you, CapCut. That is something that because I've thought about it. And I'm standing on that. I'm standing on that business, personally. That was a stupid thing to say, I'm so sorry. Anyway. Trying to think. I feel like I covered a lot. We're only at 40 minutes, but yeah, basically this setup, it's not going to be the same all of the time, right? Like, I may shift in this chair, like, to the left, which is where I mainly go live on TikTok. It's a little more left. I might be in my dorm room. Those are really the only places. I might be in my bed. I was originally going to film this podcast in my bed, because I thought it would be fun, and it would be a fun little area, right? However, my bed isn't really interesting. Also, when I left for college, my grandma redid my room, so there's the chicken posters and paintings that we don't talk about. There's 2 random pictures of newborn babies. They're not my babies. I don't know whose babies are those. I don't know. There's a hedgehog and a dog paintings. There's an elephant above me. And then there's a picture that I bought that looks like my cat. But so it's just my room's just so uninteresting right now, and I wish that it was more interesting, but my grandma likes to get rid of my personality any chance that she gets. So, yeah. This is going to be a very rocky start. But we will prevail, and we will keep going, because there's nothing more than talking. And that's what this is. This is just me yapping. I feel like I say a lot of things that my biggest fear with the internet is anytime I put out a video, I'm like, oh my god, people are gonna fucking hate me. like, oh my god, I'm annoying. Like, what's the point of all of this? And that's why it's really hard for me to it's gonna be very hard for me to actually post this, because I'm gonna have to edit it, and I'm gonna be like, what the fuck? Like, every time I edit videos of mine, I'm like, I have this realization, I have this, like, clarity, like, this post-recording clarity, where I'm like, what am I doing? Like, actually, what am I doing? But no, we're not gonna do that, right? Because everything is a learning curve, and, I don't know, like, I also think, I've been told a lot that people like hearing me talk. People I just have a lot of takes on some things. I get very deep randomly. And people like hearing that. So it's sort of just I was just like, oh, I want to do video essays. I really do, and I probably will at some point. But podcasts are so much easier, because it really is just me talking, and there's only going to be a couple cuts, and there's only going to be a couple stuff edited out. So this is just easier to make content of. But if I do make video essays about a topic, I will not include that topic in my podcast. In this podcast, I will say. Just because that is also going to be probably a very long video, but with video essays, they're going to be more articulated, they're going to be more properly formatted, they're going to be more edited. Did I say that? I said formatted. They're going to be more edited than, like, these videos will. But they're probably going to be topics. They're probably going to be mainly film. I'm very into film. I have to email my advisor that I want a minor in film. Anyway, I'm very into film. I'm going to be mentioning stuff like, oh, I heard this is good or whatever, right? I'm going to be mentioning a lot of stuff about film and media, and fandom. Like I said, I'm very into fandom. But, chicken butt. Anyway. Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway, I'm just saying, like, there are probably going to be a little spurts of, like, me actually having points to certain topics and whatever, but those topics will never be in videos like this, just because, again, that will be my chance to fully talk on the topic, rather than me yap on here. Because all of these points that I've, like, been mentioning, they're not scripted, per se, right? Like, they're just bullet points. I just have bullet points to remind myself, like, oh, talk about this. But I don't type out, like, what I'm going to say, or, like, stuff about it. With video essays, I will probably be writing out, like, word for word out, like, what point I'm trying to make. Like, it's an essay. It's an essay format, right? Like, I'm not saying it's gonna be I'm not gonna write a whole essay for the topic, but like, it'll be articulated. I will be talking. I'm gonna have my best friend read it over. Like, they're gonna be more thought out than whatever this is. This is just me talking. So while I do go on tangents and they seem like it's well thought out, no, I'm just saying stuff. These words they're just flying out. They're just happening. Also, if you don't like certain stuff, please tell me in a constructive way. Don't be like, I fucking hate you. Actually, wait, I might take that better. Actually, I might be like, wow, but I'll listen. Anyway, so yeah, like, if you just don't like the camera angle, if you're like, oh yeah, maybe film on your bed, maybe that'll be more fun, or maybe it'll be fun if I do a different location each time. Maybe that'll be fun, right? Each video is just a different location. Where am I? Where is Saw? Right? Like, where are they now? That might be it for today, guys. Make eye contact with my computer. You see my face. Okay, well, that's all I got. Bye.